Hello, we're going to do some lovely grid art today. I've got the Kuretake, the Art Nouveau set, and I've got my cold press watercolor paper and I've taped it down and then sectioned it off into 8 sections. I've got a medium flat brush here and I'm just grabbing my favourite colours. So just sort of doing a squiggly line across the page with this lovely plummy purple, and then I've just grabbed another plummy kind of colour, plummy pink, and just dragging that down these lovely sections here. This is just so easy to do. You're just going with the flow, not really thinking about it, just knowing that you want to get some colour onto the page. And then I've just got a lighter pink. So I haven't waited for the sections to dry. I've just let them wet and they're sort of merging into each other, and that's the kind of look that I want. I'm leaving a few white sections here and there just because that's how I feel today. So I've got a watercolour pencil here and I'm just having a bit of scribble fun. Scribbling over the top while the paint is still wet leaves a lovely colour. And now I've let it all dry and I've got the gold Uniball broad pen, and again just having a little bit of scribble fun. I just want to add a lovely bit of gold on top there, so making sure each and every section's done. I've got an Ammonite stencil here and some modelling paste, and I'm just going to add some of that modelling paste to the page, and I've got my palette knife and I'm just adding it in through that stencil and just being very careful, holding the stencil down very tightly to make sure that it doesn't seep underneath. So I'm moving on and I'm doing all of the stencils here, so just moving on and adding some more of that paste on top and just squidging it through so it goes on to the watercolor paper below. So I'm hoping this is going to leave a lovely raised surface, and I think it'll complement the colours that we've got there, but we'll have to wait and see. When I pull it off we'll be able to see, and we'll need to let that dry. So I'm just moving it across to the other section, and again I'm just adding some more of that modelling paste onto the page, and I think it looks really nice, the pattern. I really like that. And then you're going to let that side dry as well and pull that off, and you can see the lovely patterns here. So I've got a gel pen here and I'm just going to outline those shapes, and because it's raised you can just press your pen onto the side and it sort of follows that shape, and because you're creating a sort of like a shadow behind it, just means that the ammonite sort of pops off the page a little bit better, just gives it a little bit more prominence. You may have liked it the way it was previously and you can just leave it like that if that's what you prefer, but I wanted it to be a little bit more prominent and a little bit more so that it really pops off and it looks very 3D. If you look at this page to the side you can see that modelling paste is all raised, so it does look slightly 3D there. Continuing to outline all of the ammonites and making sure that they've got this lovely purple colour behind them. When you're happy with that, then you can grab either some gold ink, some gold acrylic ink, or any colour you like. If you haven't got any ink, then grab some paint and you can just dip it in, dip it onto the page like I am, just in that negative space, just to add a little bit of glitz. I just wanted a bit more glamour on this, so just dabbing it here and there. So if you haven't got the ink and you haven't got a dibber like this, you could use a very small brush or a little stenciling tool to add those marks there. So putting them all onto the negative space, and then you're going to need to let that dry. Once it's dried, again I've picked up the purple pen that I use on the ammonites and I want to make that gold pop off the page, so I'm just outlining each and every one of them. When When you've completed that, then I've grabbed a gold felt tip pen and I'm just outlining each and every one of these 8 squares. We're going to doodle on top of this and it makes it look really cute at the end, I think. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you haven't got a gold pen, just find another pen that you've got that you like and add that. It's just a little bit more detail just to enhance the picture, to just pretty it up really. When you finish with your gold pen and outlining all of those little squares, then I've grabbed a white Posca pen and I'm just adding some lines onto that gold. So sort of flicking it towards that tape and just making these lovely, lovely patterns. I think it really, really does enhance that gold and just makes it look a little bit different. And you'll see that when we pull the tape away, it looks really, really pretty, I think. So I hope you like this. Maybe you'll like, maybe you'll subscribe, maybe you'll leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Do you like this? What do you think of this inking on top of that gold felt tip? Is that something you're going to do? Let me know in the comments. YouTube have now got a new feature which is called Hype. If you're a subscriber, it's in the comments box. If you scroll across, you can hype a video, and what that does, it pushes new creators' videos out to further audiences. So if you like this, I'd really appreciate if you could do that. Okay, so I've done all of that and now I've decided to just add some little dots, just because there's a little bit of space left for me to do some extra bit of doodling, and I just thought it would be nice to add those little white highlights here and there. So then I've heated up the tape, making sure it's nice and sticky, and I'm just trying to remember which little bit of tape comes off first. I always forget. I'm pulling it off very carefully to make sure that I don't rip that page, and then heating up the edge tape, the larger tape, and pulling that off as well. So just trying to be careful there. And then once that's all done, you'll be able to see the lovely finished results. So there we have it. We have the lovely little individual squares, and I think they'd be quite nice cut out. You could make them as tags or do them as part of a collage. I'll have to think what I can use these for. Maybe you can give me some inspiration, leave me a message. I would love to hear what you would do with these. Well, thanks ever such a lot for watching, and hope to see you again soon. Okay then, thanks, bye.